Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series for NoDQ.com. A lot of news and rumors going around right now, a very busy week in the world of wrestling. Lots of news about Undertaker, CM Punk, RVD, Brock Lesnar, Dolph Ziggler, you name it. Lots of news and rumors out there, so make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Keep up to date with all the latest. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions. First one today comes from Yes No 22. Hey Aaron, do you think Mark Henry is the right choice to face John Cena at Money in the Bank? Secondly, do you think we may never get to see Daniel Bryan beat Cena for the title since Cena won't tap out? And I got another question here from Crusher6363. Hey Aaron, after that segment on Raw, do you see Daniel Bryan getting a shot or even winning the WWE title? Here's my opinion. I think that it's best to hold off on Daniel Bryan. There was talk about doing John Cena and Daniel Bryan at Money in the Bank. That was the rumor, but it was just too soon to do that match. You still had to wrap up the whole Team Hell No tag team, and they did that on Raw, basically, and planted the seeds for Daniel Bryan to have a singles run and go for the WWE title at some point. So that's been taken care of. But you still have the whole issue with Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, and I'm guessing that that'll be a match at Money in the Bank. So I think it's good that you take care of that feud first, wrap things up with that, and then focus on Daniel Bryan going for the WWE title. Plus, Daniel Bryan is a guy who can potentially be the future of the company. So you might as well put him in a big match at SummerSlam. If you're going to do Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, I think it's better to do it at SummerSlam than Money in the Bank. And I'm just happy for it because I'd rather see that at SummerSlam than Mark Henry and John Cena at SummerSlam. With all due respect to Mark Henry, which, you know, I give him credit where credit is due. That was a tremendous segment on Raw. And, you know, I see nothing wrong with doing Mark Henry and John Cena at Money in the Bank. Yeah, it's not going to be a great match, but you know what? Money in the Bank should be a tremendous show. You got the Money in the Bank ladder matches. You have RVD returning. You already have enough stuff for Money in the Bank that will make it a fun show. So it really doesn't matter who you put in that match. You could put anybody against John Cena, and I don't have a problem with Mark Henry getting a pay-per-view main event. I mean, he's been around long enough. He's paid his dues, and based off his performance on Raw, I think he deserves a match at Money in the Bank, and I'm looking forward to it actually in a way. All right, this one comes from J-Bay. What's up with these names? J-Bay526. Hey Aaron, I'm going to Money in the Bank in Philly next month. What do you think RVD's role will be? Will he win the Money in the Bank match? Regarding RVD, I think that in all likelihood he will be part of the Money in the Bank match. That's what makes the most sense. You know, RVD is Mr. Money in the Bank after all. And WWE's clearly building this pay-per-view around him. And whatever happens with RVD, I'm sure WWE already has a plan for him, and then that they are going to do something big with him. And, you know, RVD coming back will help make this show memorable just by that alone. I mean, RVD is going to be over like a mofo in Philadelphia, ECW territory. So I'm really looking forward to this pay-per-view, you know, with RVD and the Money in the Bank matches. I mean, that right there, I think, is worth the price of admission to buy the pay-per-view. And as I mentioned before, it doesn't really matter what the other matches are. It doesn't matter who John Cena is facing. You know, a lot of people are going to be interested in this pay-per-view for RVD, so you might as well build the pay-per-view around him. So as far as him winning Money in the Bank, I could definitely see that happening, seeing him win the match and then maybe do what he did 6 years ago and cash it in, announce in advance who he's going to cash it in against, and face the champion, maybe the world champion at SummerSlam. You know, I'd love to see RVD versus Dolph Ziggler for the world title at SummerSlam. That would be my personal preference. But you know, there's a lot of different matches you can do with RVD. But I'm thinking, you know, since CM Punk's going to be facing Brock Lesnar, and Daniel Bryan might be facing John Cena, your best bet would be RVD versus Dolph Ziggler. I mean, that would be a tremendous match. So we'll see what happens. But I'm fairly certain WWE already knows what they're going to be doing with RVD for the next couple months. All right, this one comes from JMSticks97. Even though I was happy to see Brock Lesnar on Raw, do you think it is too early to set up a feud with him and Punk because SummerSlam isn't even that close yet? I was definitely surprised that Brock came back this soon. I figured that, he would come back closer to SummerSlam, maybe the night after Money in the Bank. But, WWE started building up the Brock Lesnar Triple H rematch the night after the Royal Rumble, and that was, way in advance. So WWE's done this before, and I'm all for it. It's good to have long-term build-up and get people anticipating a big match. And with the amount of money they're paying Brock Lesnar, you might as well build it up for as long as possible and make the match, blow it up as huge as you can. So I don't really see an issue with it. And, usually I think it's better, too, to announce Brock Lesnar showing up in advance so you can possibly get a ratings boost. When you're paying him that much money, I don't know if it's the best idea to have him come in as a surprise. But in this case, it was a cool surprise. Nobody was expecting it, and it was the icing on the cake for one of the best Raws of the year. Thinking about it, I actually thought that Raw this week was the best Raw of the year, better than the post-WrestleMania Raw. Because the thing about that Raw is that the booking of the show actually wasn't that good. It was the crowd that made that show memorable. But this time, this week's Raw was not just a great crowd, but WWE actually produced a great show. I think that this week's Raw was the best Raw of the year. I just wanted to get that out there. Next question here from XK Wilcox. Hey Aaron, do you think we could possibly see a CM Punk and RVD versus Brock Lesnar and Curtis Axel tag team match at Money in the Bank, setting up for a Punk versus Lesnar match at SummerSlam, and possibly an RVD versus Axel match as well? Please answer in video. I don't think WWE is going to be booking Brock Lesnar in a tag team match. As I mentioned in the previous question, they are paying him so much money that they're only going to put him in top tier matches, and he'll be watered down in a tag team match. So they want to stick to one-on-one matches, and because of the fact that Brock's working such a limited schedule, it's almost certainly not going to happen. If Brock was working full-time for WWE, absolutely I could see them doing a tag team match to build up to singles matches. But in this case, it's just highly unlikely that it'll happen. As far as Brock Lesnar, RVD versus Curtis Axel at SummerSlam, I wouldn't have a problem with that match, but I think that you could utilize RVD better, especially after his comeback, the early stages of his return. I think it's better to put him in bigger matches. But certainly down the line, maybe in 6 months' time, you could do RVD versus Curtis Axel, but I wouldn't do it this soon. All right, this one comes from SES Juggalo 423. Hey Aaron, been a fan since I first saw NoDQ&AV many years ago and been a fan since. Very cool. Thank you for that. You're doing great work as always. Thank you. My question is, who do you think is the best tag team out of the big three right now? Well, I think you have to go with the current WWE Tag Team Champions, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, The Shield. They're on fire right now, despite The Shield losing their first six-man match. The Shield still has a ton of momentum, and there's talk about doing Undertaker and Kane at SummerSlam against The Shield for the tag team titles. That would be a spectacular match. That would be something really special. So yeah, I think the fact that WWE would want to book that kind of match with Undertaker and The Shield, that just goes to show you how far that The Shield has come in such a short period of time. All right, last one today comes from Hawaii Dens. Aloha, Aaron. Well, I know it's not hard to turn CM Punk face when so many fans love him, but at the same time, now there is no top heel. Now look like Orton's hasn't turned while Lesnar could. He's not a full-time performer. Was it too soon to turn CM Punk? Basically what you're saying is there's too many baby faces and not enough heels right now. That is definitely an issue in WWE. But they could very easily turn somebody. They could turn Orton. They could turn Sheamus. So it's not like they don't have any options. The thing is, you also don't want to do too many turns in a short period of time. They just did the double turn with Del Rio and Ziggler, and CM Punk has just turned babyface again. So, they may want to wait a little bit, but certainly by the time SummerSlam rolls around, I could see Randy Orton going heel or Sheamus, somebody. And, you have Del Rio now, and I think Del Rio is going to be the top heel, at least on the SmackDown side or whatever. Not really a brand extension anymore, but, Mark Henry is going to be a top heel for the time being, and Alberto Del Rio, and, maybe Sheamus or Orton. I mean, a lot of people are suggesting that Sheamus goes heel because he's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle, it seems, in recent weeks. So, that could be a possibility as well. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Keep subscribing, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Tell a friend on Facebook or Twitter. And I will see you next time for more No DQ&A video.